Diablo 4, Hearthstone 2 consoles. Let's do some BlizzCon 2016 predictions. Let us know your predictions in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit the like button.
I think that Diablo 4 is going to be announced in some way, but I don't think it would launch until 2018 or 2019 because I think that if they announce it, it's just to sort of not only cause excitement in terms of, you know, people just wanting another Diablo game, but also stockholders will be excited, and so that would be good because they'll see an outlook of, oh, if they're going to make a lot of money off this like they did with Diablo 3, so that will make investors happy.
I totally agree with you. Diablo 4, makes sense because otherwise they don't really have this big announcement at BlizzCon as well, and they seem to be working on it, and they also had this, like, weird thing going on. Did you see it with the dice? And that there was like this logo. So it's probably coming because Blizzard likes to tease us, and it makes sense. So what I think will happen is there will be a cinematic trailer for the game, and they will show the PC and Xbox One and PS4 logo. And yeah, I think fall 2017 makes sense, but I totally see why it would be 2018 because I looked at the floor plan of BlizzCon. And if they would make this game playable, because that would be very Blizzard to have, Overwatch, for example. They announced it, and guess what? You can play it like next door. Oh my god, that's amazing. But if we look at the floor plan right now, we see Overwatch has a huge area, World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, but there's like this small corner, it's like the toilet, like next to it, is like bigger than like the Diablo section of BlizzCon. So I don't see them having a ton of computers with the game.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people are probably wondering like, oh, well, they waited a long time with, you know, between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3, so why would they do it now, despite these rumors? Well, it really comes down to what Blizzard is as a company now and what they have planned for the future. And if you look at their future right now, they have a solid foundation of a bunch of IPs that they can build upon, but they don't really have anything that's super new, like the big announcement for BlizzCon, and something that they can discuss and people will be hyped about for a couple years as they work towards something else that would be the big announcement. And also from an investor point of view, they obviously, you know, Diablo 2, they were a smaller company back then. They weren't really that small back then, but they were still small enough where they weren't like harped on by investors constantly. It's not like it is now where they're more imbued in that sort of corporate structure. And so with Diablo 3, they sold 500, and I'm just looking at Rust estimates from statisticbrain.com. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but Diablo 2 sold roughly 270 million worth of revenue. Diablo 3 was 570 million in revenue. Keep in mind, like I said, those are rarely rough estimates. I'm not even sure how valid this site is, but it makes sense sort of the proportions that it was basically 2 times the amount of sales. So they probably saw with Diablo 3, this game made a lot of money, and they are like, okay, this would definitely make investors happy. It would make our fans especially happy. So let's go ahead and just do it. And let's get it out of the way and let's start working on it because it's a game that we thought that maybe it was sort of a more niche game, but still popular in a sense, but they were completely wrong, and it's really, really, really freaking popular. So they just want to build upon that.
Yeah, in August 2015, it sold 30 million copies. So that's a lot. That's really a lot for a game. And maybe they also say, oh, the Reaper of Souls editions are also game souls. They probably said they probably count that as well, but. Anyway.
Yeah, and the site that I went to didn't even count the expansion too, because it had the Diablo 2 expansions, but it just said Diablo 3. So
maybe it's
I'm
like
sure that's even more.
Yeah. So exactly. So I mean, what they want to do with BlizzCon, I think, to not have something big for people that don't play the current Blizzard games, doesn't really make sense. They want everyone to keep to talk about this show. And to only announce some updates that they would otherwise announce via a blog post or something like that. Yeah, they also want something big, and I think Diablo 4 will be big because then a lot of people that don't care about WoW, don't care about Overwatch anymore, are now like, oh, Diablo 4, I want to play that. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, it will not be playable probably. Maybe Gamescom will be the earliest because Gamescom and Diablo, they announced the Reaper of Souls expansion there. So yeah, makes some sense. But I think that it will launch on consoles simultaneously.
Oh, of
which
course.
Of course also
Yeah.
interesting, and it sold a lot of consoles, so that makes sense as well.
Yeah,
So,
and
okay, 2018, I agree with you.
yeah, speaking of more massive content updates, I mean, obviously with World of Warcraft, we could see World of Warcraft have an expansion and it be the sort of entire show's hype because it's a very big game, it's very popular. And so you could sort of say, oh, well, why not just the Diablo 3 expansion? And I definitely would, agree with you. Well, that could be the case too. I definitely think there's going to be something major with Diablo if it's not Diablo 4, but everything's hinting towards Diablo 4. But Overwatch, I think, will also get a massive content update, possibly called an expansion in and of itself. They might do something like what they do with StarCraft 2, where you can buy the expansion and still play the base game, but there's certain things that are available only with the expansion. I think it would be stupid for them to do that. And I think that if they did an expansion, it should just be free or like a one-time charge, and it's only like maps, not necessarily heroes. But it's going to be very interesting to see how they would do something like that. And at the very least, I think we'll see some, hero announcements and, maps announcements, stuff like that. But I think that with the money they're probably making from microtransactions, I think they could give all of it for quote unquote free. Obviously, they still want you to buy stuff, and that way they can put the content out. But I have a very bad feeling that it's going to be a paid expansion if they do an expansion for Overwatch. But I hope that's not the case.
But why not do a single player expansion so you can learn the characters more? Because
that's true.
That would be super interesting, and because I totally believe that releasing a hero that's exclusive to an expansion, would totally unbalance the game, because they don't want that. They want you to pick every character from the get-go. So to have this story expansion with voice actors and awesome cinematics that we know that Overwatch has, that would make a lot of sense and would be pretty cool. I think it's too soon though. They might do it next year, but I can totally see it in the cards. I think they will push esports a lot, because right now that's still in a weird spot. Maybe they will announce a spectator mode. That would be cool. And they will also probably have the winter update there to say, hey, wanna have Tracer in a Santa suit? Here you have it. Go ahead, play it, buy some loot boxes. And a new animated short. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I just see it not necessarily to be like heroes locked away, but I mean, if they did something like that, it would be like StarCraft 2, I mean, if you have the expansion, you have different units available to you and whatnot, but it's barred away in terms of the queuing. And the tournaments are usually played on the most current version of the game. And the people that play the older, more vanilla versions still have people to play with, because people like to play the other versions, and it kind of acts as a separate game mode in essence, because all the balancing's different, all the units are different. But at the same time, I don't really think that would be likely. If anything, it's going to be like what you said, a more single player experience. Or something separate from the competitiveness of Overwatch, so that way they don't jade their community and can still make money off of somewhat of a content expansion of some sort.
Yeah, one last thing about Overwatch. I mean, the whole thing and why it also is a big success is because it's easy to understand. You jump into a game, choose a character, shoot away. So to have this different layers of content would not really make sense. So I think we will probably see the future of content updates with a big focus on the winter update and some esports announcements. And I think your expansion analysis totally is right, but maybe not. It's too soon, maybe right now.
Not in the paid way as well. Yeah. And so, I mean, Overwatch should have a showing. How big is it going to be? Who knows? We'll find out. But
big,
Hearthstone,
huge.
Hearthstone, well, at least on the esports perspective. But Hearthstone will also, I think, have an expansion be revealed. So I think this time it's going to be a more grander expansion, and there'll be the base cost, and it'll have a good bit of content. It'll just be another Hearthstone expansion.
Yeah, they will probably do that. And on top of that, I think that they will also announce it for consoles. Because they're already... Did you see this tweet from at Play Hearthstone to Nintendo with Mario, we see you, something like that?
No, I didn't see that, but it wouldn't surprise me for them to be on consoles.
Yeah, so because Gwent, of course, a new kid on the block. Of course, it was playable in Witch 3, but it will now be like this. Yeah, standalone card game is also coming to consoles. So if Hearthstone can be in front of them, because Gwen will be like, it will be there. I mean, they have this beta now going on. I think it's almost here, or it should be here. Anyway, if Hearthstone can just release next month, I mean, that would totally, or just at BlizzCon, it would say, well, after BlizzCon, you can all play Hearthstone on console. Have fun. That would totally make sense, I think. And then it will probably later come to the Switch. So that's my prediction as well.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I could see it definitely working fine on consoles. They would have to, do a little bit of work with it, obviously, but I definitely think it would fit.
They will figure it out.
And
Yeah.
I don't see Blizzard missing the opportunity of squandering a monopoly of sorts that Gwent will have on consoles, because card games are not really a thing on consoles. And so if Gwent goes up there and they're the lone contender, I mean, obviously there's Magic Duels, but that didn't have a great rap, at least initially. There's also Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that. But but Gwent's a very big name. Witcher 3 sold gangbusters, and a lot of people love it. So it's going to definitely get a sizable audience. And if Blizzard puts it on consoles, Hearthstone that is, then that should get a sizable, addition to their already sizable population. But at the same time, Hearthstone could be played on a toaster. So I don't really see a need for it. But I definitely can see people wanting to maybe play it on consoles, and I could see additional revenue made by putting it on consoles at the same time. So
I mean, it will be free probably, so a lot of people that never heard of Hearthstone, I mean, there are also people, they will also download it. They see, oh, Blizzard, I heard it. Oh, I like Overwatch. Oh, this is Blizzard. Oh, they also make this card game. Let's check it out. I think that will be the case.
Yeah, certainly. And also, relating to somewhat Warcrafty news, World of Warcraft patch 7.2 will be shown. Both of us think this, and I think it's one of those things where they're gonna definitely try and keep the pace for updates going fairly quickly. I like what you put in our notes. February 2017 sounds great for me. I don't know.
Will be the case.
I think it would just include like a dungeon. I think it would include, obviously another raid and stuff like that. And I think that it will definitely show that Blizzard is keeping their promise that they will release updates. But I wouldn't be very surprised if it released instead in like March or April, and they sort of slide it out a bit more. But
on the other hand,
at the same point, I kind of hope that it is February, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, October. I mean, it launched less than 2 months after the initial release. Of course, the first batch after a big MMO release is always like earlier than the second, but still, I think February, that's 3 months. So, or no, even 4 months. So yeah, would make sense, right?
Yeah,
maybe have it late February. That would be cool to, for people that are looking forward to that, because you will also have the Christmas event, the Halloween event should be going on, and so you will have a ton of stuff to do, and of course to try out 7.1. And then in February, hey guys, new presents, yay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, do you think BlizzCon's going to be like super spectacular, or do you think they're going to miss out on a lot of the things that we mentioned?
I think that we are like pretty on point here, because we're not like talking about, oh, Titan will be revived. I like those crazy stuff. Like, I think with the teasers we saw with Diablo 4 and the things that are going on there, and they had like a ton of job listings, and I think Diablo 4 will be in the cards, even if it's just a cinematic trailer. For Overwatch, it will be huge, but I don't think that like an esport mode or spectator mode and 2 new characters will really set the internet ablaze. So maybe they will have some surprises for that as well. I think BlizzCon is always like for the fans, of course, and for example, Overwatch was this enormous announcement that nobody saw coming. I don't think that they will suddenly have a new game. They might go and revive the RTS genre in some way. I still believe that if one company can do it, Blizzard can do it. I think it's too soon though, but would be cool to have, of course, a Warcraft announcement. But we will have to wait and see. I don't think that this is the BlizzCon, but even with Diablo 4, the stuff we mentioned, it will be great.
It's certainly possible because the guy that we mentioned, God, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who moved away from the World of War. The game director for World of Warcraft moved away. So it is possible maybe there is a Warcraft RTS in the works. Would it be shown? Probably not, because he just got transferred to his new adventure. But Diablo 4, I think, is the most likely to skid out of the show. I think that it is definitely being worked on. I think that it's something that they do have planned, but would they release a cinematic trailer now or next year? But yeah,
Tom Chilton is his name.
Tom Chilton, there you go. Yeah, so it's one of those things where I think if anything skids, it's gonna be Diablo 4, and it would be revealed next year. But I think I think that if they want to have a blockbuster and really make people feel like it was worth it to go to BlizzCon, they will announce it. If not, at the very least, at least a Diablo 3 expansion would be nice too, because I mean, we just had to reap our souls.
that ship is still, man. But yeah, they will probably sell a lot of copies as well, and they have the engine and everything, so it will be easy probably for them to make. But I think a Diablo 4 would make more sense. I hope. And that would be really big if it would launch fall 2017 to have it out in September.
There's no way. There is no way.
I know, but it would be cool.
if they somehow did that and pulled that off, I mean, that would be ridiculous. And at the same time, I would definitely see it would definitely be broken at launch, hardcore broken.
Or
at launch.
Delayed. They will now have this big, good PR, and then guys, we still need.
Yeah,
but I think that 2018 will make sense, and then they will announce the beta, because I think Diablo 4 will be way more online focused, and they will just have this beta going on in 2017.
Yeah, I think if they make a Diablo 4 and it is going to be announced, as we mentioned last episode, it's going to be more of like World of Diablo in a sense, where it's kind of like Marvel Heroes, where there's a lot more people per zone, there's a lot more like events and living things going on, but there's still that core ARPG gameplay that everyone loves and plays Diablo 4. So it's going to be a fun BlizzCon. I always just sort of get the bootleg version of BlizzCon. I think it's ridiculous for anyone to pay for a virtual ticket. It's like basically paying for them to market towards you. I've always found that to be extremely silly. Like if you go to the conference, it's fine because you're at the conference, you're at the show, and you get to meet people and all that stuff. But like paying for you to watch a marketing event's kind of fucking silly. But yeah, I'll be paying attention to it. Just not like on the main.
Yeah, but if you just bring some friends over, have a beer, and they all pay like $5,
that's not as bad. But I mean, if you're paying like the full virtual ticket and you're sitting there alone, it's kind of like you just literally paid for the full thing just to be marketed towards. I'm sure so many marketing people would be so thrilled to be basically paid to market towards you. That's like paying for ads. Like, would you want to pay a YouTuber for every ad that you see? Like, it's just a ridiculous concept.
Let us know your BlizzCon 2016 predictions in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for way more gaming discussions, and of course, check out the Everything Gaming podcast. This was just a small bit of the whole podcast. You can find it by clicking on the link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching. I will speak to you next time. Goodbye.